you go live, oh, you're already live. Okay.
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 Okay, we are already live. So, in the interest of the fact that we are already live, we'll start this. We'll start the fireside chat. This is the seventh episode, and we're chatting with our bakers who have contributed to the healthy baking book series that OMBC and StoneMill India have brought out together. It's of course been a year-long journey, but a very interesting year-long journey. And I think listening to all the bakers in all of the sessions that we've had so far has been a wonderful experience. Today also I'm sure all of you will enjoy sharing what how things have emerged, what your journeys have been, and then eventually how it feels to be a part of such a series. So without delaying this too much, because this is good, we have at least two people who have started seeing it, which is a good deal. I'm going to put a reminder on the group also, so that people will start joining the chat as well and sharing their comments. Meanwhile, so we have Shiva, we have Rashi, Surabhi, and Jalpa with us for this weekend. And Samira and I, of course, like I say, we are permanent fixtures. I will, because of a certain, sudden thing that has come up, I will drop off for the next 10-15 minutes, and then I'll rejoin. Meanwhile, Samira will start the conversation with all of the bakers. Yeah?
See you soon, Simran. Thank you so
See you.
much. So, hi Shiba, hi Rashi, hi Surabhi, hi Jalpa. It was really amazing to have your recipes featured in the books. They added so much value. And, every episode we've been trying to cover a topic that is, we found to be somewhat common between all the bakers who were on that day's live. For instance, one day we spoke about how to include protein when you're a vegan baker or you're following a vegan lifestyle. One time we spoke only about nuts and seeds and how bakers are incorporating in those ingredients in their bakes. So today we want to focus on healthy fats of choice. So I want to, and any of you can take up, answering the question as you all feel comfortable. But what we would like to ask you is, and what will perhaps even benefit the audience is, what is your healthy fat of choice? Fat has spoken unspoken received a bad name, but there are healthy fats, as we have all become aware over these years with OMBC and now through the book series as well. So just want to understand, as moms, as bakers who have adopted healthy baking, what are the kind of healthy fats do you like to incorporate in your baking and cooking? Anyone can go
Yeah,
first.
yeah. So for me, I love using ghee, homemade ghee. I love using it. Like for long period, I was like under the impression like it's too much of calories and all. But with time, I got to learn about the benefits. I got to know about the benefits of ghee, particularly if it is like from a reliable source, or if you are making it at home, nothing like that. So I mostly, like for my personal use, I don't buy ghee at all, so I will make it at home. And using that ghee, that's the like that's the one of my favorite fats to incorporate in the bakes, particularly in cookies. So I think it gives a lovely texture and a lovely flavor to the cookies. And I have also started using cold pressed oils in my bakes. So earlier it used to be, before I was into healthy baking, it used to be refined oils. Now I have completely switched, not only on baking for baking, but for my complete use for any sort of cooking, I use cold pressed oils. And particularly for bakes, I prefer sunflower oil because it is like it doesn't have any smell, or so it's kind of neutral. So I really like using that. Plus yeah, and olive oil is one of my another favorite, extra virgin olive oil. I love to use it in my breads and all. So that's what I'm using currently. But yes, there is so much to explore. Once you if you put a search on OMBC, there will come so many options will come up that you'll be spoiled for choice. Oh my god, I never like avocado. I never thought I can use it. I can replace the regular fat with some fruit. So it was something I couldn't have imagined before. But now, yes, I come across so many new kinds of fats which I haven't experimented yet, but I would love to.
I think I agree
Nice.
with
That's
Shiva that the moment you put a search on OMBC, there are so many varieties, and it just opens a plethora of options of what you can try. And actually, you start thinking, oh, this is possible. Oh, actually, somebody is doing it. So, same happened with me actually. I have been using only homemade butter in my recipes. I have never in last 7 years have bought butter and used it. So thankfully I'm able to store that much cream, leftover cream, malai, that I make butter. Sometimes I make ghee also, and ghee is used for regular consumption, and I use that ghee residue to involve
right.
in the cookies and savories and all. So I use quite a bit of that, and I again align with. I think we are all healthy bakers here. I aligned with Shiva when she said that she has switched to the cold pressed oils, because I too
Yes.
have done the same. That moving to cold pressed oils, and that is what I'm using in cakes. In cookies, I am still restricting myself to use ghee and homemade butter. But cakes and or somewhere other savories, I sometimes use oil as well.
I
Yes.
think with
Yeah.
cookies, choice of fat is very critical because it impacts the final outcome in terms of especially the
Yes,
texture or
Yeah.
crumb.
yes.
Yeah.
And I
Hmm.
have some specific cookie lovers in my home, so I have to be very sure of what they are gonna pick and eat. So my husband
Sure.
and my son
Hmm.
both just love the cookies that I make at home. So I have to
Hmm.
That's
align it, and if I have to make any modification, it has to be so smooth that they don't realize that
Yeah.
I know.
transition has happened from one thing to the other. So
Sure.
that's at my
right.
end
And
as
I
of
like
now.
the fact that you mentioned, you use up even the ghee residue. I think
Yes.
as when you adopt a healthy baking lifestyle or a healthy lifestyle in general, you become more aware of the wastage and how try to find
Absolutely.
creative ways of utilizing every part of a particular
Yes.
piece of produce or ingredient so that you're
Yeah.
maximizing complete usage. So that's
You
very
just can't
interesting.
waste actually. Yes, yeah, that's interesting. And a lot of this inspiration has always come because people are so experimental on OMBC that you will actually end up thinking there must be something that I can do with what is left over.
Yes.
Sure, Nitin. Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, when we talk about fats, it even depends upon what you're baking. There are certain recipes which calls for liquid fat, and then there are certain places where we do use solid fat, such as butter and the way others mentioned, liquid the cold press oils. So
Right.
specifically, when we talk about cookies, we might use extra virgin olive oil, or maybe
Right.
cold press coconut oil, or cookies for or for cook or ghee, for example, for naan khattais and all. Those specific flavor
Hmm.
comes from a specific ingredient when that's added. When we talk about cakes, it could be either oil or butter. Basically, what fat does is it adds a lot of moisture and tenderness to your bakes. So that's where the fat plays very important. Whatever we might do, we may run away, but at some point of time, some amount of fat, when added to bakes, it definitely adds a particular rich flavor to the bakes. When we for me, I bake a lot apart from for healthy baking also, and then apart from that also. So most of the times it butters, but when healthy for the regular all purpose flour baking, what you do, it's always butter. But in healthy baking, when we talk about, there are so many things to explore, and there are so many
Yeah.
things. I mean, it's just you keep on exploring, and there's something always new coming up. So that's a great role that it plays. It's completely diversified when we talk about healthy baking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I so
and
agree
it's
with
just
you,
an
Jalpa.
important
I
part
think
of our life
I also
where
find
we need.
myself, sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I think there is a lag at my end. Sorry. No, I was just going to add that I so agree with you, right? It varies depending on what you're making. But I
Making,
often,
yes.
find myself kind of reaching for ghee because it's always available, right? You make it at home,
Yeah,
it's
true, true.
there. So, and especially with cookies and all, instead of
Yes.
butter, so I don't fret about, oh, I don't have butter at home, right? Or, if
Yeah.
I get it and all. So, usually I'll just pick one, 2 spoon of cookies and you're sorry ghee, and you're sorted for your cookies at least, and everybody
Yes.
loves it, mostly with oats and all. It just lends itself so well.
very
And I
well.
yeah, and I agree. I think even with cakes, I enjoy using oil more than anything else. Because it
Yes.
just the texture that it gives is sometimes way better, much fluffier. So yeah,
Yeah.
mostly sunflower and
Yeah.
sometimes olive as well. Olive for breads, like Shiba you said. Yeah, I often kind of reach
Yeah.
for olive myself. Yeah,
All is fine. No, but then I feel like, when we talk about fat, the fat, solid fat and liquid fat, when you mention, like, you like more of baking cakes with oil rather than butter. Butter, after a point of time, it becomes like, it solidifies and the texture
yeah,
changes completely.
changes quite a
Whereas
bit.
when we bake, yeah, when we bake with oil, it still remains the tender, like, for sponge cakes that we
Yeah,
make, even healthy or
Yes.
meta based, whatever.
yeah,
The oil one stays far more tender than the butter, because I mean the liquid fat
yeah,
doesn't solidify that much
yeah.
as the solid fat goes.
Yeah, and longer, right? The shelf life kind of, you
Yes.
feel that it
Yes,
stays
that's
fresh for
one
a
more thing.
longish time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because there is
What
no
about
dairy,
nut
so
butters
yeah,
and fruit butters? Have any of you experimented with nut butters and fruit butters? Um, or is there any kind of fat that you haven't tried yet but would want to?
yes,
For
actually,
me, I haven't.
yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't tried out canola and grapeseed oil, but I'm still reluctant whether I want to go and try that out or not. Like, at some point of time, people say that, look, they won't be like, the bakes won't be too perfect, or like, as good as what you use when you use butter, oil, or ghee. They can't handle the high temperatures, so that
Yeah.
tends out to, like, burn out, or like, sometimes it turns out very crispy. I haven't tried that, but I feel like, I should give it a try to something like, seed oils or something. Maybe I just a thought.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to use avocado
Yeah.
for the butter and the ghee things, because it's I have never tried it as yet, and I'm thinking this is the season, that right time for me to just try that out first. So
Mm.
really wanting to
Mm.
incorporate avocado butter in the cookies or cakes that I
Cookie.
bake.
Yeah. Yeah. I've tried avocado and failed miserably, so I have to kind of
Oh,
get the courage to go back to it. It was bad, I think.
Okay.
When I did it, I think the taste also changed. It was a slightly bitter for me. And yeah, of course,
What
I
about
didn't do
you?
something right. Yeah. And
I
I
think
think
yeah, yeah,
yeah, what becomes more challenging is to, once you failed, you gather the courage and redo the same thing one more time, right? So I
absolutely.
Yes.
kind of
yes,
got scared
yes.
for quite some time. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna do it for a bit. And yeah, I think I have to kind of, like you said, go to MBC, search for a good
Such.
recipe, and then just go with
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yes,
I think, yeah, but
actually,
then
I remember this happened with me when I was trying breads. Okay, so for
uh-huh.
many years, I was only making cookies and savories and all. I was so
Yeah.
scared to try breads. But
Yeah.
then there are some great mentors that are there on OMBC who encouraged newbies like us that, okay, no, you can try. It is not that difficult. And there was just
Right.
one technique that you just need to know how the dough is. You have to get
Yeah.
friendly with the
Yes.
dough, and everything becomes so easy. So
Right.
some wonderful sessions and some wonderful recipes actually let me try all those new combinations. So initially I was hesitant to make bread. Now I try making bread with all the different variety of flours. So
Yeah.
that's how you progress and you understand how it can change, how it can get better.
Yeah.
exactly. Recently, I
True.
read somewhere about macadamia nut oil. So I read that it's very good for cookies. So that is something which I'm looking forward to. It is available on Amazon, but I'm yet to try it. So, but I have read very good reviews about it. So that's something which I am looking forward to try into my bakes.
Oh, look, sounds interesting actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look
I,
forward to your
Get your
recipe now,
olive tried.
Shiva.
sure,
Yeah, we'll get some courage.
sure, sure,
yeah,
sure.
and I think somebody telling us that yeah, avocado is a great egg substitute as well as being a substitute for butter. And I think we have a few
Yeah,
recipes book that
we
feature
do.
avocado, the use of avocado quite successfully, where it
Hmm.
hasn't turned bitter. So we might want to try that the next
Of
time,
course.
because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Definitely.
the texture impacts the
Yeah.
bitterness, the temperature of cooking. So yeah, I did that once, and I had terribly bitter avocado based cookies, and I just couldn't have consume it at home. So
Yeah.
again,
And I,
totally relate
yeah,
to what you're saying.
yeah, it's so good to, I think, talk about failures because then you kind of quickly get the right tips, right? What could have you done wrong? So
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Yes.
Okay, I think this is helpful. I'm going to go back and give it another go.
Go.
Yeah. I think people have
Absolutely.
successfully used avocado in frostings as well. I think,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
Yeah. I
A
haven't
very
tried, but yes,
versatile
I
ingredient. Yeah,
yes, 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 definitely.
very versatile. But okay,
So,
so quick question for all of you. What do you all enjoy baking the most? Is it cakes or cookies or breads or savories? Because I heard all options, like how Rashi started with cookies, but eventually also tried breads. So what do you all enjoy baking most amongst all the different types of bakes?
I
Breads for me.
enjoy, sorry, bread.
Breads for me.
bread.
Yeah, same
Okay.
here. Okay, okay.
So
I
why?
like
Why?
making cookies and cakes. Cakes are the easiest actually. So sometimes when you don't have anything, cakes and then nice healthy pumpkin buns and all are something that I always keep handy.
yeah,
Doesn't take much time and effort, but you always
Fine.
have
Yes.
something ready for the evening snack and evening hunger,
Snack.
especially when
Yes.
you have a 7, 8 year old child running around and
I'm
feeling
sure.
hungry in the evening. It's a good
Yeah.
thing to offer them along with their milk or whatever we give them.
Yeah, yeah. I exactly do what you're doing, Rashi. I often do cookies. One, because I have a cookie monster in the house who love to hog, and when I make it. He can have as much, right? Because you can just put whatever under the sun. I often put like flaxseed powder and whatnot in those,
yeah,
in the cookies, and all turns out really well, right? And gives that nutty texture.
Mm.
So I often do cookies also because sometimes when I'm crunched for time, right? Very quickly you can at least make a batch or two.
Assembled.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
and then
yes.
with breads, I more than breads, I find myself doing buns again because of being bite-sized and all, right? So I do buns a lot, especially stuffed buns.
Mm.
I had done this, I think Italian filling stuffed buns couple of times, and then it just became a go-to for everybody. Okay, make white sauce, make put cheese and mushrooms and whatnot, and that I make a lot. More than potato
Mm.
and other things, but yeah, spinach and corn and all that. So yeah, I do buns and cookies more. Yeah.
Mm.
Nice.
What I do at my end mostly whenever, because I have to first make butter, like we said na, that butter is not always handy. So to get it, I mostly make butter and I make 2, 3 doughs ready and stack it. And then over a period of
Yum.
like 4, 5 days, I take out and
Yeah,
make whatever is
yeah,
possible
Mm.
out of that.
Mm.
yeah,
So the variations happen. Plus,
Couple
I
of
keep a lot
sessions
of
we've
flat bases, flourless flat bases, so which can be used for anything, sweet or savory, whatever one wants to make in the evening.
So sometimes I
the
really
last
feel
one.
like, you might get
Imagine
healthy snacks. Okay. Somebody
yeah,
else.
go ahead, Sharpa.
Yeah, I feel like, you might still get healthy snacks from outside, or maybe some cookies if you're in a hurry, you might like, just go and order and do. But breads, I don't feel there is any substitute that you might get in your shopping stores or like,
yeah,
online ordering or anything. The variations, like, after OMBC only I started making breads. But now, like, it's fresh turmeric available in the season. We make turmeric bread, spinach and beetroot bread, and all mix of seeds that you add. It makes it so versatile. Like, I'm basically a guju, and gujus are like, chapati paratha, chapati paratha. I wanted to come out of that. And bread was such a like, and chapati paratha, what flavor? Like, sometimes you add some pickle masala to it or some other variation that you do in paratha also. For breakfast also, my house, everybody earlier preferred paratha. But now then, after I started making breads, now, like, I just have to just twist the tail and put it to them. Like, these are all healthy seeds that I've added. And now this is
right.
turmeric bread that I've done, all spinach and beetroot puree that I've added. And people are so happy. And I'm also very happy. Okay, somewhere saving my time. And I know my family is eating something healthy as
Yeah,
well. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that.
this is the
One
point
fun
I
thing
was
I think.
actually trying to make,
Sorry, go on,
that in
Shiva.
the last couple of sessions, we've discussed about various ways to sneak in nutrition into food, especially when it comes to
Yes,
yes,
kids.
kids,
Vegetables,
yeah.
whether it's so even when Surbi spoke about finger food, making it bite sized, making it easy to eat, or you are speaking about the beetroot bread, it's just
yeah,
that it's so amazing how all of us are focused on trying to sneak in the best amount of
Yes.
nutrition for our families and children
Yeah.
cooking
Yeah.
to our
And
I
yet show it as a very colorful spread. So we are not giving
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
only healthy. We are
Yes.
giving
Yeah.
colorful spread, a nice red color bread or a green color bread. So,
Sure,
Mm,
sure.
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Some of the healthy other options, like our family members do have an option of ordering from outside, but like now when it comes to bread, I know everybody's chotis in my hand. Nobody will go out and get anything that special from outside.
Yeah.
So they are
I
there,
know.
like, okay, fine, bread is something that only you can do, will not be able to get it from outside. And that's what,
Yeah,
like, I feel the way Samaira mentioned, all our motive remains like, what best can we give to our family and kids, like, when
Correct.
they'll definitely not eat beetroot in salad. My daughter doesn't even have tomato, but when it's beetroot bread, she'll rush to it. Oh my God, there's some red velvet bread, she'll say and have it.
I think that's the
That's
advantage
interesting.
with baking, right? You can just put whatever under the sun, right? So I
Ever.
have this
Yes.
Yeah.
pantry, I'll keep thinking, when will I use seeds otherwise, right? You can't be making
Yeah.
kheers
Yeah.
and other things
Correct.
other than baking. But the
Very
moment it
often.
comes to baking, just add dollops of it and you're sorted. You get like your part pack dose of nutrition,
Oh
as well
yeah.
as, everybody gets to, nobody questions, right? What you've put. They're like, oh, it's so yum. Yeah.
Correct.
mm,
For me, I enjoy baking cookies because they are really quick to make, and you can just,
Yeah.
whatever ingredients are available, you can definitely make a cookie out of it, and
Cookie out.
it's a very easy snack for kids. Between the class online break, कुछ खाने के लिए चाहिए. So this is something I'll offer, and then next is breads, because for breads I enjoy making, because you don't really need to follow a specific recipe. So that is something what fascinates me about bread baking. You just have to know the basics. Like after I attended the session which Rekha had given the Facebook Live on OMBC group, it was really helpful. So you actually have to know how to, like, you're like, you have to understand the dough basically. Once you get the knack
Yes.
of it, you don't need to follow any recipe. So that is something,
Yes.
kind of, you feel okay, I don't have to look at a book or online for a recipe. You just can make it anytime, and with very few
Mm.
ingredients and whatever leftover you have. So just incorporate that. We have seen many bakers making some amazing breads with dal, with this, with that, like whatever you have. So just incorporate, and your bread is ready. So uh,
Ready.
that's how it is
Yeah.
for me.
That's awesome. Simran, today we figured out one more hack on sneaking nutrition into our
wait.
kids and family, just like we've
Oh,
discussed
yeah.
in our
That is my
previous
favorite. That is actually my favorite topic. How to sneak
favorite.
stuff
I
into
know.
food.
Yeah.
So we talked about finger foods and adding beetroot to breads and all of that. So yeah, we got few
Yummy.
more hacks today from them.
Yes, I'm sure. I think I'm very happy that I have managed to come back quickly. And I had the earphone on one side and doing the call on the other side. So it's FOMO. This is called FOMO. You know, this form of FOMO, where you're trying to be in two places at the same time.
Same time.
And I am
But
somebody's asking me why are the names not right? Sorry, I'm so bad. Again, I'm going back to this. I'm so bad at tech. How have the names disappeared? Didn't we have the names showing up here? Sorry.
Ah, yes. No, I
Aren't
believe
they? Na
earlier
pehle?
it was there.
It
Ah,
does
right.
just
I could
enter,
see
right?
them.
When you come in.
I
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
see them. I don't know what is the matter. Listen, for whoever's asking, okay, please quickly just tell everybody your names so that it is. I think somebody, because they're not showing on the screen, and somebody I think is asking why, if it would be nice to see the speaker's name on the screen, and I thought it was there, but I'm just wondering where it's gone. Anyhow, so does everybody just want to say hi and just wave so everybody knows who's who?
hi, I am Rashi.
Hello. Hi, I'm Surabhi. Hi.
Hello, I am Jalpa.
Hi, this is Sheba.
Okay. I'm sure whoever's asking knows who we are. Samir and me. If you don't know after 7 episodes, I don't know what to say. Anyhow, so yeah. Go ahead, Samira. Go ahead. You ask.
I was
What
asking
were you
Rashi a question,
asking?
but I'm wondering where she went because her screen went blank.
Her
So
screen has
maybe
gone
I'll
blank.
just get back
Hmm.
to Rashi in a bit. But
Yep.
so, Jalpa, I wanted to ask you also a few things. You've
Yes,
taken
yes.
your passion for healthy eating, healthy baking, quite successfully into a baking business and a manufacturing unit also, I believe now, and you're also teaching a lot of kids. on healthy baking. So just give us an insight into how it feels to be taking the message of healthy eating and healthy baking out to a larger audience. You know what you managed to achieve and what has the response been for you?
Oh, that's I believe I should give this credit to Simran and OMBC because when I started, we all we are all fascinated with chocolate chip cookies and Black Forest cake. I was just doing that. Finally, I the slowly demand of fondant and all those things started coming in and all. But it's like it was so fondant and sugar, and I myself felt like this is too much that is going inside into it. It's like people ask for toppers and people ask for sugar and icing sugar. I mean, it's just loaded with sugar everywhere. One fine day I got to know from Rekha Sridhar is how I got to know about Simran and the group. And that was when we were supposed to send cupcakes to an NGO. And I was so happy with that thought. And I just just contributed, and I told Rekha, yes, fine, just connect with me with Simran, and I will definitely do this. And after coming to Bangalore, I was not when I was in Gujarat, we we just go and do charity to our once in a while during functions, or maybe when you're it's somebody's death anniversary or something, you just go and give it to some Brahmins or something. That's what we have been doing till date. I mean, if you talk about our past, and it was never I knew about all this, that okay, fine, we could, when you're doing this as a small business from your home or when you have an outlet, I just felt like okay, fine, I'm just somewhere I wanted to give it back to the society. And that's how I got to know about Simran and OMBC. Slowly, the way I mentioned, it was just that you fall upon to a classic Black Forest cake or a cookie, or those honey cakes that were the traditional things. And I never thought people could even bake healthy. So that's when I just started enjoying, went through the group, the recipes, and that's the inspiration. I would truly say that was the inspiration for me to start. I slowly when I started it when my daughter was around 4 years. So I mean, like every other fussy mom, and that maa ki mamta jaag jati hai, कि this is what I want to give to my child. It should be the best, the healthy one. I will not get anything from outside, all home cooked food and all.
Correct.
So then I slowly started baking healthy and started putting up photos on my page. And then I was taking few classes earlier, and that were all the traditional pakka cookies and cake and all those cake decoration classes only. And then slowly people started asking me, when I started enjoying healthy bakes, and then people started asking me, if you can do it for your daughter, why can't you take up orders? Then slowly it started why can't you teach our kids? So healthy baking, when I started teaching, that was a great sense of satisfaction for me when I started getting messages from the kids and their parents that, oh my God, after they came to your class or after they attended your workshop, now they want to turn out everything into healthy. So, one thing led to another, and then finally, conducting classes. And it's now become a ritual of conducting 3 to 4 times in every summer holidays, Dashra holidays. So that's how I give this credit to OMBC, Simran.
That's really awesome, Jalpa, because if you can do it, it inspires many more of us to, take this message forward. And it's possible, it's doable. It's not,
Yeah.
of course, I'm sure it involves a lot of hard work, a lot of heartache, a lot of effort, but it's doable. And making healthy
Yes.
living, healthy eating a reality for homes around the country, it's possible. So thank you for sharing that. Um, Rashi, you had vanished for a bit in between there, but I wanted to ask you. You are inspired by a lot of Indian, Indianizing version of cuisines and even curries that have been baked. One of your recipes that features the curry, which is very, very interesting because no one ever thinks about how can I
Yeah.
bake a curry.
Correct.
You think about simmering it over a kadai for like hours on end, and here you've given a hack to bake it and make it healthy. So, what inspires you to Indianize everything that you come across, even other places which
This is the this is the perception ना समीरा, that माँ का प्यार होता है जब वो 2 घंटे किचन के आसपास घूमती रहती है ना.
Bang
This
on.
is what we need to change. This is what we need to change. Ki maa ka pyar is not 3 hours in the kitchen. Maa ka pyar can be 5 minutes in the kitchen and 30 minutes the
Yes,
oven does the work. No,
Oh,
and
yes,
mama spends
correct.
absolutely.
30 minutes with you, with the child.
Yes,
Right?
bang on the thinking. Actually, that was the idea behind it, because it was too much work, and we all like food, and especially my son. He likes good food, and he especially likes the presentation of the food. That is one big task that I have at hand. That how the food is presented to him is a big key factor of him liking or disliking a food. And the he has a
इसके बेटे से बुक्स की फोटोज करवा दिखानी चाहिए. खाएगा कि नहीं खाएगा? Will he eat it or not? Says yes. ठीक है, this is good. Visually it seems fine.
So that was it. I wanted to really do something which is quick, something, because I really do not believe in a very elaborate process, honestly, because baking is not my main work that I was doing. I had my other work, and this was my hobby, which was I was trying to pursue along with what I was doing 10 other things. So I always keep my bakes. If you see my recipes also, there are not too many variations in what I do. I experiment with flours, I experiment with butter, and I experiment a lot. But my most of the recipes are very simple, because I cannot afford to get into a long process. I cannot make that much time for that. And also, what happens, I think, if it is too long for us especially, I lose the interest of gradually, like, kind of spending that many hours and preparing something. So this recipe that I had, the curry recipe, is one of my son's favorite, my family's favorite in a way. So I said, okay, let me try. So many things we are doing, why not curry we cannot do? So it really, and believe me, it came out so well in the first go, that every time now when I make that Kerala style curry, it is a demand that please bake it, please bake that and make it, because I'm free most of the time. The entire work is done in 5 to 7 minutes, that's it. And rest I'm free for the day. So that was
Correct.
one of the, so you say na, necessity is the mother of invention. Necessity and knowledge from OMNC group is the mother of invention.
Yes.
True that.
So you get the courage that, oh, I think I can try at least
Ah,
baking a curry. So
Yeah.
you go ahead and try, and it turns out good. So that's how it was for me. I got into, and even the traditional recipe gujia is like, again, I mean, we all are mothers here, and we are all talking maka pyar types. So my son is really fond of gujia. Okay, now I'm seeing him eating that maida gujia for like 5 6 at a stretch. I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen types. And I don't want to take the joy and the pleasure of eating that gujia around holy festival time, which is a very good tradition, and I really love, I personally love that particular sweet. So I said, okay, this time I will not fry, and I'll not use maida. I'll use atta, and I'll see how it comes out. It comes out so well, and everybody again in the family, like my dad also is a little. He's also a foodie, and he's also a very good cook. So he's very specific of how anything is made. So he liked it. He said, "Yeah, it is tasting good." So I'm like, "Okay." then it must be, there must be something good in this. So
going
so now,
fine.
Biggest
yeah,
validation.
yeah. So now, so I make gujia cookies also now. Okay, so it's not just the gujia. Now the filling and everything is made in a cookie form. So you have this choco filled cookies. Now I have gujia filled, that mawa filled cookies.
Oh, cool.
That is another variation I've done now. So that's where it leads to my all the experimentation. Making life simpler and easy is my funda, root funda.
Samira, we should have these calls, na. This discussion, I'm thinking, it's change the time of this, man. After this, at 4 o'clock, then everybody's hungry. At least I am hungry. Okay, every single live, every single live at 4 o'clock, I'm like, oof, now I'm going to have this tea with nothing, which I want to eat. So I'm just thinking that, by the time it's 4 o'clock, you're thinking, okay, what is going to happen? What are you going to eat?
What?
Because this call ends like that. No, that's the
Makes you
problem.
hungry.
Yeah, right. You're just
Now
hungry
this
by the time it's evening.
and curry. But I think Sheba also you've mentioned somewhere that if I won't use the ingredients for my family, then I won't use them for my client. I think that's a
Correct.
very nice philosophy
Yes.
to and when we work out of if I'm not going to do it for my family, I won't do it from outside. That honesty and that centering always happens. So how
Definitely.
has been the response when you tell your clients कि मैं ये मेरे family को भी comfortably खिला सकती हूँ? That's why I'm giving it to you as well. So how do they
Definitely.
usually respond when you give them that?
Actually, I have been questioned about the pricing. I have been questioned about it, couple of times or more than that. But I'm happy that by the end of the conversation, they are, completely convinced. When I talk about the ingredients, the quality of ingredients, what kind of ingredients go into this particular bake,
Yeah.
finally they are convinced. They understand, and they don't like. And then it's not that that's the first. Like they don't come again. They definitely come again, and they have no issues with the pricing once they are convinced what kind of ingredients go into that particular bake. And usually I do this whenever I bake for any clients. So I sent a small message mentioning the main ingredients. So these are the main
Right.
Yes.
ingredients that go into your bake, so that they are, they know what they are basically buying. So
Getting.
they are convinced if they are paying this particular price, this is for a reason. Because usually people have
Yeah.
tendency, अच्छा ये केक तो इतने का मिलता है, why are you charging
Right.
more? So,
Yeah.
okay, even if you are using whole wheat, so whole wheat and maida, it won't make much of a difference. But when you go into detail and explain and make them understand, people do understand. There might be few people who won't, but mostly people do understand. And particularly when you talk to mothers, you educate them, inform them. So, yeah, definitely there is a positive response.
I think that's a very positive change that we've seen in the last few years, because otherwise,
Definitely.
the unfortunate truth was people would spend on clothes, people would spend on
Yeah.
expensive cars, people would you don't think twice when you have to spend money on those things, but when you have to
See,
spend,
Correct.
yeah, exactly.
so it becomes a
No, that's
question: ki why is the cookie 10 times
correct.
more expensive than the commercially available cookie? But I think that's
No,
very
Definitely.
they no, and they have a clear choice, Samira. I think this is a very valid point that this pricing issue. I just feel that people have a clear choice. They need to understand: do you want to spend on your health by eating the right thing, or do you want to spend in the hospital or on your health by
Yes.
paying for medicines, by
Yeah.
paying for
Medicines
doctors?
and everything.
Because
Yeah, yeah.
you are not what
correct
you consume today. You're not going to see the impact of it just today, right?
now. Yeah.
5 years down the
Absolutely.
line, you will see it, and I'm not even saying 10 years. I'm saying 5 years. I'm saying 2 years, because the
Correct.
kind
It
of
starts showing in 2 years.
adulteration
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
and the kind of change in food patterns, the change in our lifestyle, everything combined, what may be hitting our parents, maybe if they were eating this, okay, and again that standard, our parents have eaten this and they've been fine, okay, are your parents are eating
Mm.
this and they were running also, your parents are eating and they were
Absolutely.
doing 100 other things, and the food was not adulterated, so adulterated 30 years
Absolutely.
back,
That's true. Right.
so these are the things that,
Mm.
and they were not sitting in front of the laptop,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
Right.
so much has changed, but the mindset
Mm.
has to change, which I think, and this mindset about, okay, why am I paying so much, I
Yeah.
think it's a very good thing to talk to your clients. I think that is one of the reasons why I will never be able to sell again, and I don't intend
I
to,
know.
but I would have never been,
Mhm.
because I think after a point in time, I said, you come to me with a closed mind, I cannot talk. I cannot. My
Definitely.
first and biggest criteria is you come to me and talk to me with an open mind. You're ready to listen, then we will talk. But I
For
think
Mm.
it's
sure.
a very good quality to have, to talk to clients, to sensitize them, to help them understand the ingredients. It's
Yes.
very important. I think all of you who are doing, you're running your own ventures. I'm sure you have phenomenal amount of patience and knowledge to be able to take them through that, and it's a very big service. Believe me, it's not something that you're doing just for your business. You're educating them about
Yeah.
that, so that they will start thinking in that direction, which is a big change in itself.
Mm.
you
Yeah.
know
I
Correct.
would just
You know,
like to add one small thing here when, Simran mentioned about the change in trends and all. During Corona, it was very difficult for me to survive my business. I mean, something like, so much of overheads and
Correct.
renters and paying to the employees and all those things. So I was like, I was just like, thinking, how do I make people come to me, people were hardly coming out, so getting into the deliveries into the place. And then I just started introducing something like indulging like I just wanted people to indulge into something sweet. So I slowly started introducing weekend treat box. So I was also like, weekdays I like, I introduced two different things. One was a weekend treat box and one was Wednesday healthy box. And believe me, my healthy box was unbeatable. My revenue and my overtime just shooted up with the healthy. I mean, my wheat flour cake, wheat flour brownie, and wheat flour cookies and wheat flour breads were unbeatable. Like, people just, and my, when I was sitting with my balance sheet, I could see, like, sugar items and healthy items. I'm like, soaring high on healthy items. And that,
Lovely.
thing
Very
has
nice.
changed. That,
Correct.
that thing, the trend has changed now. Like, more, I would say, like, out of, if I see my monthly sales, I feel like, almost 60% of my sales is from the healthy things that goes out of the kitchen. Yeah, there are few, like, who would like to, like, theme cakes and all those
Yeah.
things, but yeah, I believe that is there. But then the scenario has changed now. People have even started asking for vegan and keto bakes. So once you're
Yes.
into healthy, they like, just tend to know, like, okay, fine, if you're into this, you will be able to do this also. You do this, and then again, like, you do some R&D, but there is a huge demand of vegan, keto, apart from
Yeah.
just wheat flour based things. So
Correct.
I mean, it's really good to see this change. It's a tremendous. I mean, I never expected, like, running a bakery would, like, the people would come and ask for healthy things. So that's how it has changed.
You've explained it really
I think
well,
that's
actually,
very
Jalpa. I
positive.
think this particular thing, I am just recalling one conversation I had with a friend a couple of months, 2 3 months ago. And she was telling me that, so we were just talking about what you're saying, a bakery which sells healthy stuff, right?
Healthy
So
stuff.
we were just talking about it, and I was telling her that I said it's very, sometimes it could be very difficult to sustain, so we were
Yes.
just speaking. So she said, no, Simran, she's like, 10 years back when you started doing this, yes, it would have been difficult to sustain. She's like, there is
Yes.
so much
Yes.
change in the way people have started thinking now. I'm sure
Thinking
some
now.
of,
Yes.
in the last 2 years, I think, of course, there's some push towards health, even because of the pandemic. That's the only positive of the
Pandemic.
pandemic.
Yeah.
But I think,
Yes.
that's one thing. But I think gradually people have also changed. I think people have become
Changed.
discerning about what they are putting in, especially if it's regular consumption. So like you said, if it's cookies, if it's breads, things which they are consuming regularly, they've
Yes.
become
Yes.
aware of, they are becoming, I mean, very
Yes.
long way to go, but still becoming aware of where
Aware
exactly
of.
are they going with it. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It has. It has. Like, I never believed that people would, like, opt for so much of healthy stuff. Like, and it's like, my staff, whoever joins new or something, they all have by hearted all healthy recipes rather than maida recipes. They are all, yeah, healthy recipe. They all run. Yeah, okay, fine. It's all by hearted by now.
Well, I think it's all about also going back to the roots, right? Our uh, forefathers and their forefathers, they did eat healthy. Whatever they reaped from the land, they
Yeah.
freshly processed it and prepared their food. It's just that commercialization of food happened for a while in between, and now people are essentially going back to roots because they are
Yeah.
realizing the value of what you put into your stomach impacts your long-term health. That
Health.
thing is coming back. Even for me, for simple thing like
Right.
the atta bread in the morning, I now when I think of the idea कि मैं bread खाऊं morning में, and that to the commercial bread, I just shun the idea. And this is a change I have noticed in myself,
Yes.
especially over this last year while working on these books. कि when there is a world of opportunity available with healthy food, why should I put that commercial unhealthy baked item into my system? So it's just that
Absolutely.
mindset change is happening, and it's really awesome. And Jalpa, I think what you are observing in some terms of what your sales are moving towards, it's testament to the fact that people are more and more aware. So that's awesome too.
Definitely.
And talking
Yes.
of going back to roots, I think Surabhi's experiments with baking are always inspired by what she ate as a child. Am I right? Whether it's the pinny or dry fruit cake. So something we've come
Yeah.
across in our chats too. So you want to share about your inspirations on
Yeah.
baking?
So the my contribution, actually, while I had a few other thoughts in mind, this particular contribution, honestly, this I had posted on the OMBC site once. There was a winter contest that Simran had posted, and I think it was around, think of your favorite winter memory and bake something. So this was, while it got published in the book later on, this was as part of that. And honestly, my famous winter memory was the pinnies my nani used to bring to our house. And she would actually bring two big big dabbas full of pinnies, and they used to be, oh my god, our staple for the next more than a month. So now pinnies are, I don't know if all of you know, the laddus basically, right? That they will put all the dry fruits in, has loads of ghee and made with, wheat flour. And my god, when she would make it, it used to be an affair. If we were in her house, and it was an annual thing, right? So come winter, we knew Nani would sit down, and she would actually not do it on gas. She would put a stove on, the one with kerosene. Actually, she would put that, and she had a huge kadhai, and she would keep roasting the atta until it became like insanely fragrant, really. And so actually I kept thinking of that, and then I thought, why can't I bake, something with all those ingredients that gives you that punch and kick of energy. And that's how I kind of baked this one, this dry fruit cake. And I just, the good thing with, today's this thing is, back in north we were not using ragi and all as much, for example, right? The whole, especially Punjabis, right? This whole thing on atta is a lot, like whole wheat flour is a lot. So I thought, okay, I can do so many other things. So I added ragi in it. I had sprouted ragi. I added, and I used to sprout ragi for my son, for his, and thank God for, all this, people coming from different places. You've become so much aware, right? I honestly would not have known of ragi if I was sitting there without being connected to so many other people. When my son was
True.
born, I actually got introduced to this idea, right? Okay, one, ragi, and two, I can do it on my own. I can sprout it at home. It was so easy. So I kind
Correct.
of just made this with everything that Nani used to put. Of course, her love and all, everything made it. So this thing, so yeah, my dry fruit cake was really, in her memory. And of course, I added so many other things. I added, I think, dates. I ground it. I added figs. So anything and everything. In fact, the only thing I did not add was gond, that, because I wasn't sure how it will go
Yes.
with the whole thing. But yeah, and that's the thing, right? That's the beauty of baking. You can actually translate so much, that you've had before as a child, to a baked version, right? And actually it made me so happy, because I think, in the book also there's an expert, that kind of remembers her. So it made me especially very emotional, and I shared it with my mom, and she didn't know I had submitted it. She didn't know I had kind of called her out. And of course, my nanny was she passed away, I think, 2017. So yeah, it was a huge, I think I felt very honored, and I felt that, okay, she would be very happy, because yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So I think, that made it very special. One, the entry to the idea that it got published. Three, that, that whole concept of, there's so much more you can do. And see, earlier days, all our elders, like we were all saying, right, they used to actually, they would feed us based on season, right? They'd say, okay, this is the season for, whatever stuff is coming, and
Correct.
you should eat
Correct.
that, right? Yeah. And so many more things we used to
Absolutely.
have. And now that's what's happened, that we are always in that constant, okay, go fetch whatever. Okay, now I'm getting interrupted, sorry.
No, it's okay. That is
Yeah.
part and parcel of having
Yeah.
small, old kids also. I
Always,
have to
right?
put
When you're
myself
in the
on
flow
mute
of
if
thought,
the
and
kids start fighting. It'll happen. Don't worry.
okay. Yeah.
No, no, I think that's
Yeah.
such a
So
wonderful thing. Yeah, no, I think I'm sure you have rejigged so many of our memories actually for all of us, of somewhere
Yes.
where we have connected with food and cooking and even baking now with our grandparents, our parents. I think when you were talking about that pinny, right? I was
yeah.
thinking of my mom had made it when my kids were born, and she
Yeah.
got it from Delhi. I said, I can make it here. You can make
Really?
it here.
Oh.
I will get the stuff. You know, I will make it and get it.
Make it and
Yes.
get it. Actually,
So
right?
she,
So
Yeah.
she will actually sit
so,
on that rickshaw cycle. I have this sight, she'd be
ah,
coming. And we would just
see,
stand, because we knew, okay, it's Sunday, Nani would be coming. We'd just look,
coming.
and you can see her coming on a cycle rickshaw. So those visuals, right? And I know what you're saying,
Yeah.
right? Your mom said she'll make it and bring,
Huh.
right? That
I said,
whole
Make
I'll
it
get
and
thing.
everything.
bring.
I
She
said,
didn't want
you
you
will
to be
get.
involved in the process. Yeah.
I
She
said,
wanted you to
everything I'm
enjoy
going
the
to get
fruits of
here.
her labor, really.
Yeah, I said, Bangalore is in India. I'll get everything. You will not have a problem. Just come in. No, I will make it and get it. What if
Yeah.
something is not there? I said, everything is there. I will get it. So then
Yeah.
when she got it, but
That's
the
not
thing
the
is that,
idea, right? Yeah.
and the problem is that after, and it was supposed to be for me, right? Because I have had the baby, man. I need to have it, right? My son finished it, because he, Nani had to make more, while she was staying there. Because then now you're to buy ingredients here only, right? Where will I get it from? So, but I'm just saying, it just keeps passing on from
Passing,
generation to
yes.
generation, and I think it is something that it's just there. So I know that as my kids grow older, I will definitely be telling them about it, sharing about it. Like I'm sure you would also do it, and of course, Rashi, Shiba,
Yeah.
Jalpa, we'll all be doing it. In terms of
Yes.
sharing these things with our children as they keep growing older.
Definitely.
Yeah. Right.
So,
We should get to the fun part, Simran.
Hmm.
Please
Yes, I think everybody is
put all
now in
the
that
three.
frame of mind.
Okay.
Yeah. हाँ, सो
Yeah.
फोटोग्राफी तो मैं नहीं बात करूंगी यार। मैं तो हर हर सेशन में मुझे यही सुनाई मिलता है, which is a very valid
I
reason
know.
actually, which is a very valid thing, that this taking photograph business, okay, for the book, okay, has been our biggest challenge. So I'm sure if anybody has any uh, you know anything to say, and probably scream at Samira and me, use this opportunity to talk about how awful the experience of taking photograph has been, and how you
No,
felt when you actually got
in
an
this,
take it again. You got to take this again.
in this process, I have my son who actually kind of was very critically analyzing the pictures that I have taken,
See,
how I have taken the setup. Most of my pictures are actually
see,
done by him, arranged by him, that this is
see,
how
Oh,
this
he
is
wants
wow.
it.
this is why he is the one who's visual also, now with his with the food and everything. So I think that's
Oh,
pretty
Yeah.
I
much
could
why
never
we.
realize there was one picture that I have clicked, which is on the steps, okay, on the stairs of our house. Okay, I
Acha,
could have never thought of keeping food on the stairs and all.
stairs.
He went ahead, he cleaned everything, and it was such a beautiful background that we had of the floor and the next step there. He really helped me in clicking those pictures and actually
Hmm.
selecting which one is to be sent and which
Yeah.
one is not to be sent, and then he made a nice sketched a certificate saying that I'm giving you a certificate that your your recipe will be published. I am so happy.
See, these
So,
kids, I think that is the good part about this next generation, which I
Kids.
say, I think every
Next
time, that they are
generation,
more
yes,
in tune with, of course, they're more in tune with technology also, and maybe the
definitely.
visual part of it, that how
Right.
the visual is important
true.
for them. Maybe
Yes.
And
that's
they
why
are
I'm
Yes.
not
thinking now
scared
I'll
of
take my
trying
son's help to
anything
remove
new.
this logo of this StreamYard from here. We'll ask him. He
I'm
might be
sure
able
he
to
can
do
do
this
it.
faster than me.
Yes.
And
Last
I'll
two
never
years of kid thought.
irritating me, that
They're
logo
not
there,
scared.
because I'm not able to figure out how to remove it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, go ahead, Rashi.
they're not scared of trying new
Yeah.
things. Huh? They are
Yeah.
just
Yes.
open for
Absolutely.
experiment.
Nahin, nahin, but
Go
Rashi,
ahead.
now we are also not scared of trying new things. We are on
Yeah.
OMBC, yeah. We are not scared of trying anything. Look at how many forms of sneaking food we have found. Sneaking stuff into random food we have found. So we are not scared of
Yes.
anything also now. You
Yes,
know,
yes, true, true.
except for
I
taking
completely
photos.
agree.
Except for taking
Taking
photos. I
photos,
think
yes,
that.
Yes, definitely.
it's still a
Definitely,
challenge for us.
OMBC has given a lot of courage to so many bakers around to try things which they would never
Never.
imagine. Like I said, I'm not
Absolutely.
in Bangalore right now. I'm in my native, and I don't have access to oven. I don't have any measuring cups. Nothing I have, and it happened to be my son's birthday this month, and we were not planning to come around this time, so he wanted a cake which looks like a football theme cake. So
Ah.
like healthy baking and then football theme cake, it's like kind of very difficult. How I was
Grossness.
not sure how to do it. And then over here I don't have access to anything related to baking, but I managed to bake a decent cake which looks like a football, at least to him. So with all healthy
Cool.
ingredients, with I did the frosting with a this Ziploc bag, and I baked the cake in a bowl. So I would not have imagined, leave apart baking, I would not have imagined that I could just even try something like that. So
Wow.
yes, definitely that is something, that confidence we have got from OMBC, otherwise it would not have been possible.
I
And
remember my first click that I had done. I completely agree with you. I remember the first recipe that I prepared. I shared a photo with Simran. Simran, is this good to go? Simran was very polite to say, yes, I think it is good, but it will be better if you can click again.
Yeah, Yeah, that is my standard response. I mean, I'm usually very polite, unless of course somebody
And I
calls
realized how
me to say
horrible it
something
was,
as
because
well.
otherwise she would have never said that.
Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah,
I believe,
I'm
like,
very hesitant to. I mean, honestly, if anybody's seen my comments online, also I'm very hesitant to say something which is even remotely negative.
You are
So
very
I've never
considerate
hesitated.
children.
No,
I just
no, I'm very
honestly
scared. I feel
thinking
very
that.
bad. I feel very, very bad. Not for any other reason. Like I said, I still believe, that the word, you cannot understand the tone of the person when they write. Okay,
Correct.
on a
Yes.
chat, on
Right.
a social
Yes.
media. That is the one thing I keep in mind always. That
Yeah.
you can't understand the expression, right? So if I was to
Yes.
say to you, Rashi, I don't think this is that great. There's a tone in which I'm saying it, right? But when I
Correct.
say it on the chat, it'll just come like, it is not great. Okay,
It is
Yeah.
not
yeah.
great.
and
I
that
understand.
if somebody did that to me, I would feel really bad. Okay,
Yes.
so I think that is the thing, that is always playing in my mind when I'm responding on chat, when I'm responding on Facebook. That this is that nobody can understand what I'm trying to actually say in that tone. So I will err on the side of caution, and I will make sure I've been made fun of for this. I have typed out my answers beforehand, read it, and then put it also online. I've read it twice myself and then put it online, only because I want to just be very cautious about that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
being so
Thanks to
I
thoughtful,
also
actually,
emojis.
Simran.
recommend.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks
feels
But
to
I
so
believe
emojis.
nice.
It
with
makes my job a
OMBC,
lot easier.
we with OMBC, I believe we have revived our mind, soul, our writing skills, photography skills,
Oh my,
everything. Now we're
yes.
perfect for no, but seriously, writing
Definitely.
a book was I had few of my other recipes earlier published in Parent Edge magazine. Now again in OMBC was a complete different thing, like a healthy item, which I mean, it's something like, this was amazing for us. Visualizing something different which was not earlier published, which was not earlier done, then writing the recipe and then taking a photograph. So I feel like, Miss Simran has taken out the best out of us. I still
नहीं नहीं
would give you that credit.
इसमें तो सिमरन का कुछ लेना देना है ही नहीं. आई एम बीइंग वेरी फ्रैंक.
But
इसमें तो
you
समीरा का
you
डंडा
gave
है.
us.
It's Samira's.
But,
Actually.
yeah, yeah.
you know
But
if no,
you guys
seriously.
yeah,
Because
you
I
guys
too
gave us
have
this
no visuals,
opportunity.
and that's why I really like this fact that what Rashi said about her son. I have absolutely I have some visual sense of what it should look like, but I am not an excessively creative person. Like, so I'm not. I mean, if you ask my kids, okay, I will never be able to do craft work in my life. I have never been able to, and I will never be able to. Okay, so I am like that kind of person. But for me, like, so which is what, with Samira's ability to actually visualize what it's going to look like, it made a big
Look,
difference. Because to
Yes,
me, I would have
definitely.
just thought that, this is nice, okay, and this is good. But she was the one who pushed and said, nahi yaar, ye better ho sakta hai. This is good, but you can do this better, and this can look better with something else. So I think
yeah,
that made a big difference, that between the
yes,
two of us, we brought very different skills. I mean, if I may say, skills and
Yeah.
qualities, to the whole process. Of course, the bakers brought their unique qualities, but for us, I think the challenge was to because we were also working for the first time on something like this and with each other. So for us, it was a huge exercise in
mm,
trying to understand where there would be a common ground, because I have never felt that what she's saying is unreasonable. Like, nahi yaar, ye sare, so many bakers had to reshoot their photographs. Okay, but the point
Hmm.
is that is when you see the book, you realize why we needed to do it.
Correct.
But the
yeah,
point
true,
is that
true.
a person who's a lay person, like for me, a publisher would understand it, but I will not understand that this is how it's
Mm.
going to. This is why this needs
Look,
to be reshot. I actually thought, अरे यार, ये बेकर्स ने इतने अच्छे से किया है, इतने प्यार से किया है, बार बार कौन कराएगा, you know. So I'm serious, that if I was
yes,
doing the whole
no, no,
process,
true,
I would
true.
have done that. you know but the thing is that, but she brought a different mindset and different thought process, and said, which is also true, I'm very emotionally attached to MBC. So for me, I think I had to, at some point in time, also disconnect myself a little bit and say that, no, in the
Mm,
interest of doing the right thing and doing it properly, we must do it nicely, so the end result is so
yes,
good that the bakers are bakers are appreciated for the actual work they've done, so that
yeah,
their
true,
work
true.
actually shines. Otherwise, we will be not allowing their work to shine if we don't put in the effort now. And I think that made a big difference. Sorry, I will keep rambling, so I think somebody has to stop me.
No, no,
So
that
I think
that actually
It's good to
no,
hear.
Simran, I completely agree with you. The books have come out. Having recipe in in a book is one part of it. Having recipe
right.
in a healthy book is another better part of it. And having your
Yes,
recipe in a book that is so beautifully and thoughtfully made is becoming
made.
a
Yes,
collectible to each of us is such a wonderful experience, which is difficult to explain. And everything, I mean, the calls that we have received, the kind of detailing that has gone in identifying the
yes,
recipes, correcting the small measures, right? It is a big
yes.
task. We can't, I mean, doing my own recipes would be a big task. Imagine Samira and her team doing it
So
for so many recipes.
so
That
many
Imagine,
people.
Yeah,
ability,
exactly.
Yes,
Imagine.
the amount of
massive.
effort and the ability to see through those mistakes, errors, corrections, and the beauty of every recipe is
Right.
such a commendable job. And the books have come out so beautifully. I mean,
beautiful.
it's beyond words. It's really, really amazing. Amazing
I'm
books that we
actually
have.
very fortunate to be blessed with a fantastic team who is able to, sink in the thoughts. It's, I think that at the end of the day, the way the OMBC community is and the way the 100 bakers who've eventually contributed to the book or the team that has, it's all been a fantastic team effort. Without your
Yes,
open hearts and willingness to share your recipes and stories, without our ability to visualize and do it, and of course without Simran's faith in this whole concept and project, none of this would have been possible. So I think this was one giant team effort that has made the books the way they are, finally the way they have shaped up, and we feel incredibly proud to have received that kind of faith and trust and opportunity with all of you. And that's it. I think thanks Rashi for acknowledging that the efforts were visible
Anytime,
and
anytime. I mean, the work
the
speaks for itself.
ability.
Such a beautiful work. It
yes.
Absolutely.
speaks for itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, even for me, like it was like it's something beyond words because I have had a long career break. I have not been working for so many years, and now when my kids are a little older, and I felt no, I should do something for myself because usually with mothers this happens when your
Yeah.
kids are smaller, you are completely involved with them.
Yeah.
Once they
Yeah.
Yeah,
start becoming little independent, then you're like, what am I doing for myself now? What? Because they are now independent, they don't need me as much as they used to do earlier. So that is when I started exploring different options, and thankfully I stumbled upon OMBC, and that's how it all started. And then this healthy baking book series, this came up, and I submitted my recipe. Honestly, I didn't have the confidence that time that it will be selected. And Simran was constantly, commenting on all the posts, do submit your recipe, do submit your recipe. And that was something which was a kind of, uh, that driving force. Okay, no,
force
okay, if she is saying
motivation
that
of
means it's something I can, yeah, that was a big motivation actually. So it was wonderful to see my name, in print after so many years of career break, when you are working but not, professionally. So seeing your name in the book was definitely a great feeling. And like for the whole family, my kids, my 5-year old, he even remembers on the page number, I think it's 78 or something, he remembers where my recipe is.
So
So
sweet.
they are, yeah, they are absolutely delighted. And my mother, when she held the book for the first time, she kissed it, and she was so emotional, she was so happy. So
So sweet.
yeah. And yeah, the only one regret I have, that my father-in-law, he has dementia, and now it's kind of severe. He used to
Okay.
love, what I used to cook, particularly the jams and all. And he used to always tell me, "You just write your recipes down. I'll just get it published. That's my job." So, but now his dementia is so severe that he won't be able to, comprehend. He won't understand. So I'm sure if he would just see my name in the book, he would have been really, really happy. And
Yeah.
finally, the outcome, like you all said, like it's just beautiful. It's beautiful,
beautiful.
the placement of pictures, the quality, and everything is so beautiful.
On
Thank you so much. and I'm already looking
Some
forward to the second volume or second
I
whatever
was
is
thinking,
coming in.
I was thinking कि अभी का तक इस वाले एपिसोड में किसी ने कुछ बोला नहीं है, you
बोला
know,
नहीं.
sitting quietly, reading the comments that are coming, reading this thing, like whoever's commented this, I'll be able to see. It's not going to show me here on the screen, but it'll show me on Facebook. Whoever said Simran's bump, 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 who
But
pushed
yes,
us. So, and I know this is keep bumping up the post till people don't see
I
it. You
know,
know, they have
I
to see it
know.
because I was telling Samira that there is this Facebook algorithm is so strange that there are people who have
yes.
come back after the recipe process has closed and said, but we never saw the post. I said,
Yeah.
6 महीने से खुला हुआ है. How did you not see it? सोचो, this bump, bump, bump has still not worked enough. I mean, how many times more I have to do this bump, bump, bump to make it work next time? But yeah, there is a
Uh,
next time is when, what I think Shiva was talking about.
say something before we,
Yes,
sign off for the day at any point. I think being a mom should be recognized as a profession by itself.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is a full-time
yes,
job,
Correct,
and
correct.
as women, I think the very fact that we manage so many roles,
Yes.
as moms, as professionals, or even running our own business at home, if we choose to go down that path, it's just amazing what we are capable of, and it's high time
Absolutely.
that that acknowledgement and that limelight should be turned towards, in our country, and
Yeah.
what we are able to achieve
Correct.
for our family impacts the nation on the whole, and that
Correct.
is the real truth of, how things are. So Shiba, I do want to say, even career break तो कभी हुआ ही नहीं, because
नहीं
you
होता
had a
यार,
full time.
हाँ.
Like
Correct.
professionally,
So
definitely. Otherwise, to nahi. And I think
yes,
even if
maybe
you're a stay at home mom, you learn so many other
absolutely,
skills. You
Correct.
know, your time
Correct.
mm,
management, conflict resolution. I mean, there are so many other things that you learn, even if
Correct.
you are not doing anything professionally. But
Correct.
definitely, yes,
And,
yeah,
learning never
and
stops.
yeah,
this
yes.
book recipe thing came at just as a such a wonderful time, especially
Time,
when
yes,
people were feeling a little low and
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
away from a lot of things. This kept us being motivated and excited throughout. First, you prepare the recipe, then you click and submit it. So there was so much work, and
Yeah.
I mean, like Shiva said that there are being out of work for some time, and pandemic especially we were sitting at
Yeah.
home,
yes,
so it
Very
got us
yeah,
isolated.
yeah,
Yeah.
busy and engaged, and there was
Yeah.
something happening. So
Yeah.
yes,
actually the book has given a very strong meaning to the last 1.5 years, where
Yeah.
nothing much has moved for others. From
Correct.
for
yes.
us, it is from nowhere to we have become authors on a first ever
Author.
healthy vegan book.
No, I think
yeah,
you
yeah.
what you said is so true, Rashi. And on a very personal note, like a few days back, I'd messaged this to Samira, and I mean, everybody knows I talk openly about my daughter's diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
So I that is what I was telling. I said, this book, exactly what you're saying. Even for me, for that matter. So I'm sure for many others who were part of the whole process and the series, that for me this has been something that kept me afloat in the darkest year, and I will never. I mean, there is nothing darker than this, frankly, for me.
Completely
So
understand.
so the darkest year of my life, I have been able to just sort of navigate because of the book, because it has kept me engaged, it has kept me occupied, it
Right.
has kept me awake, and I have
Absolutely.
had something to
Look
to
forward to.
really look forward to from a positive point of view. So of course now I'm at a very different place where I was about almost a year back. But I think and like I said, but I think the book has if I'm able to, like I said, if I'm able to talk about this without crying, it is a big deal. So I think
Yes,
that is the journey I have made. And I think so many people, I'm hearing that the pandemic, the kind of isolation people have faced because can't meet families,
yes,
can't meet friends. I have not seen my parents for 2 years now. So I mean,
yes,
what else? So for me, like I said,
yeah,
that is and like I said, at the most difficult phase in my life, I have not been able to be there. But I think it has made a big
mm,
difference because everybody felt like extended
yes,
family, right? So when Samira would call me, I
Absolutely.
would be
mm,
so thrilled to talk to her about the book, so thrilled to get Siddhi's
Lovely.
call. Acha ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua, but I'm so happy that they're calling me and they're talking to me and they're asking me about something which is keeping me engaged. When we started
yes,
doing, when we started reaching out to the bakers, when we started doing stuff like, I think November May last year, we started creating those the display pictures, right? So
Right.
all that was like something that kept me going, that wow, this can actually, this is going to work. That is what.
Yes.
So when we started the journey, like she said, it's about faith. I have taken that leap of faith, but so has everybody else who has been part of it. So whether it's Amira, whether it's all of you, you've trusted us, we've
Mhm.
trusted you, we've all, it's just mutually done, so we've all done it
Mhm.
together, right? But it's been a leap
I
of faith for
believe it.
every person, and
Yeah.
at some point in time you want to believe this is going to work. For me, it was that
But
point in time after, like maybe 6 months of it having initiated, maybe by December, January. That was the time, like I said, very difficult period for me. And that was a time when things started moving in the
Yeah.
direction of things getting finalized, things moving, in some direction, talking about how the book is going to look like finally. I think those things, it just cemented it in my mind, this is going to work. So I think that itself gives you a lot of courage that, we will, irrespective of how your phase of life has been, it's going to go only get better. In some
that's
form, you just start, associating all the positive energy, it goes back, it flows back into other parts of your life, and then you start feeling so much better about things in your life. you know Again, I'm rambling. I don't know what
No,
to
no.
say. I think after a point in
Yeah.
time I just have to stop talking.
it's
So
something like a ray of sunshine in dark, like,
yeah,
we never expected all
absolutely
this to happen, and it gave us so much, like, we were so creative during pandemic. That's what, like,
correct,
I agree with Rashi.
Yeah,
correct.
right.
It just had to be at our wits end, like what new, what, how, I mean, just an innovation is what we wanted to come. We might, like, I believe all of us must have tried out 4 5 different items or things,
Things,
recipes,
exactly,
and
yeah.
worked on so much of, like, R&D also goes into developing a
Yeah,
recipe.
yeah,
It's not just like,
very
you
true.
think and it comes out true. I mean, it just comes out
Yeah,
perfect. So
yes.
That's true,
that's what.
that's
And you
very
end
true.
up making some nice stuff for your family as well in this trial and
अरे
error.
नाइस अगर नहीं राशि, अगर नाइस हुआ तो फैमिली खा लेगी, नाइस नहीं हुआ तो आप खाओगे,
नहीं हुआ
है
तो
ना? वेस्ट तो होगा नहीं, तो कुछ तो करना
Yeah.
पड़ेगा। हर
नहीं
चीज का
तो
केक
that is
पॉप तो
what
बन
we
नहीं
have
सकता।
learned from
नहीं,
कुछ
आई
ना
टू
कुछ
हैव
तो
दिस
बना
वेरी
ही
स्टैंडर्ड
लेंगे
दिस थिंग
उसका।
दैट हर चीज का लोग केक पॉप बना देते हैं, बट हर चीज का केक
But
पॉप
I
नहीं
know.
बनता यार। What are you going to do with it, man? If it is so horrible,
yeah,
you'll have to eat it, and you don't want to throw it because you've put a lot of ingredients in it, you know.
ingredient.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Yes.
my staff would always, like, wonder when I, like, we have set of recipes in a file which we are, like,
हाँ,
tried, tested, and
trying out.
always done. Whenever I come out with a piece of paper, the staff will come and immediately ask, "Is this a trial or is this order?" Because they knew if it's trial, they will have to eat it somehow. Like, I'll ask them to eat, and I'll ask them to tell that, okay, how is it? They were so scared initially. Like, what is this? Like, is it an order or is it a trial? Like.
करेक्ट, एग्जैक्टली। है ना, क्या हो रहा है? हाँ, वही ना, हमारी फैमिलीज भी आई थिंक वैसे ही देख रही होंगी हमारी शक्ल कि ये ट्रायल हो रहा है अब। लेकिन अब प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, अब काफी सारी चीजें अब ट्राइड एंड टेस्टेड हो गई है ना बुक में, तो अब
Yes.
तो वी कैन जस्ट पिक अप एंड ट्राई आल्सो फ्रॉम द बुक।
Oh yes, yes. Yes.
सो
After the day we received the books, the first 2 3 days, my son was just sitting like we saw pictures of all the other kids doing that.
I know.
ये अच्छा इसमें से ये बनाना है, अब ये बनाना है, कल ये बनाना है. So the
वही तो।
the list is ready all the
हाँ,
time.
हाँ, अब वो टिकिंग ऑफ होगी कि कब वो,
हाँ,
कब
ना
होगा,
बन
कब
गया.
टाइम होगा। हाँ, यानी तो बच्चों को ट्रेन कर दो यार,
और इसमें आप
बच्चों
टाइम
को
भी
ट्रेन
कर
कर दो, बहुत अच्छा है। I think that's such a good idea. I'm going to start doing that. I mean, I've been doing little bit stuff with them, but I think training them full time is a good job now. Just get
So
them
that
onto
that
it so
has
that they
happened
can
with
refer to
mine
the
and
book.
so he'll try and he'll
हाँ,
say
वही
मैंने
ना,
ट्राई
हाँ,
करा, इसमें से बना
हाँ,
के ये बना लिया मैंने, हो गया.
हाँ, see, this is what we want to do ना, eventually this is where we want to reach.
Yes.
Actually.
Even my daughter, who is 11 years old, she picked up a recipe from the book. It is beetroot cupcakes.
हाँ, there
Yeah.
is one
And
beetroot, yes.
yeah, and she made it like all on her own, except that I
See,
put the that muffin tray in the oven. Except
oven.
that from scratch, from measuring, and I was like, okay, chalo, revision bhi ho raha hai, fractions bhi ho rahe hain,
हो
because
रहे
she didn't have
हैं।
all the measuring cups.
Correct.
So from weighing, measuring, everything she did from scratch, and the outcome was lovely. We all loved it. So yeah,
Absolutely. No, I think this is great. I think so. I am sure that, we've had such a nice discussion. I think we can keep talking. I'm very sure that we will,
Yes.
I
one
know.
discussion will, not be enough to kind of sort of put together all of the experience. But I'm so happy
Exactly.
that, all of you have made time to do this on a weekend, to do this on Saturday. Like I say, I know it's family time. Saturday, Sundays are usually busy from work point of view, from family point of view. But, thank you so much for taking out this time. Surabhi had to go for her certification. She had a course that she needed to go for. So she had dropped off. She'd let me know. She had
Okay.
dropped off in the
Okay.
middle at 4 o'clock. The
Okay.
course was starting, so she needed to be there. So I'm very thankful to all of you for joining in, and we will sign off now. And I'm sure we'll meet when we are all together. We'll definitely meet at some point in time when things become all right. But for now, I
Sure.
think everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and
We had a
lovely
wonderful
week ahead.
time and then a lovely chit
Yes.
chat with all of you. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Simran and Samira, not only for
Most
this
welcome.
chat, but for all the efforts and for all that you have done to touch so many lives and the family. Actually, everybody is
Thank
going
you.
to get benefited. So, thank you so much. I always tell Simran that there's so much of gratitude that comes out when we make something good and healthy for our family, about for her and for the people in the group who so generously share their
Mm.
recipes and
Yeah.
talk about their recipes, mentor without any
Yeah.
reason. I mean, they will
Correct.
just come
Without
out
any.
and help you.
Absolutely.
Correct.
They will
Correct.
always help you out, and you have a doubt, you post it, and there you
Yeah.
are. So much of support. It's such a wonderful group that Simran and everybody has created, and very very happy to be part of a lovely book that is gonna be a collectible for so many of us.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
Same
much.
here.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
Thank
lot.
you.
And
Bye bye.
thanks. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye
Take
Thank
care,
everyone.
you.
Thank
everyone.
you
Bye
so
bye.
Bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye
Take
bye
care.
everyone.
Take care.